I'm Christine. Welcome to the Recovering Perfectionist podcast, where I empower you to develop sustainable habits, challenge society, and take messy action. It's time to align with the universe for the full human experience and redefine what it really means to be successful.
It's too good, the secret is out and wow.
Welcome back to the Recovering Perfectionist podcast, the official podcast of the dance wellness community. I am here with our newest ambassador for the community, the man, the myth, the legend himself.
Oh, wow. Okay. Let's go.
Max,
Start big.
We're starting big. Max, Sinitsa, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
I can start off by saying I've been a huge fan, but truthfully, over the past few years, you've become kind of a confidant that I can bounce ideas off of,
Sure.
and you are truly someone I respect highly in this industry.
Thank you.
It is an honor to work.
Thank you
alongside
for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. We have so many things to get into.
Right. Okay. Let's go.
So many things to get into. But I kind of, obviously there are so many pieces that people know. We're going to get into, all of your dancing and, the newest exciting things of LA Dance Festival,
Yeah.
which we are so excited.
Very cool.
And of course, Brooklyn DanceSport. But I want the one question I really wanted to ask you is, as you are scaling to all of these things, your studio, your competition, all of these incredible things, how are you able to give still so much of yourself to so many people and not go crazy?
Oh, well, who said I'm not going crazy?
Okay, that's fair.
So that's an assumption. But yeah, I think when I was competing, I really had two things in my life, work-wise. That was my students,
Yes.
and it was my dancing.
Okay.
And I was equal to, 100% on all of them. And then what I found out is that as other things came along, I am doing my very best to keep 100% in every category for me, which is very, very
hard.
difficult.
Yes.
Because there's physically not enough time in a day. First of all, you have to sleep at some point, and if you
Yes.
don't, you just crash out. But
Eating is good every now and again.
yeah, eating or caffeine.
Or coffee.
Caffeine is one of those things that gets you going.
Right.
But I think people talk a lot about balance.
Yes.
And I think I wholeheartedly go into projects, and I try to find the balance when I'm already in it. I don't try to go from a place of balance.
Yes.
Because I feel like it's still a bit timid in terms of commitment. So
Right.
if we're doing the studio, let's do Brooklyn DanceSport Club,
Yes.
and not a version that maybe it will improve later on and become a bigger thing. No, this is going to be the thing immediately.
Well, it's a season. You have to, obviously,
Right.
the heavy load comes usually at the beginning.
Right.
And then you kind of find the balance as you
Right.
move into it.
That's what I felt I did,
And everything, yeah.
So my students are still there. I'm here also to compete.
That's right, because you're still dancing.
I'm still here to compete.
I forget that that's also a piece that
Yeah.
you're still doing, because I see you in so many other leadership roles. Yeah.
Yeah, so I teach on daily basis. I still teach. It's funny, I was in the studio. It's not a long story, but I was in the studio, and a wedding couple came in, and I was just in the studio reviewing some notes, or I was studying for my judging exam. I'm in the small room of the studio, and I'm just looking over. They sort of knock. They walk past reception, and they were like, "We wanted to know where we can get a wedding dance." And I'm like, and I think to myself, you know what? Let's go. I have nobody to give this to. There's people are doing their own thing in the studio. It's an independent studio, so
Yeah.
I don't have really employees to sort of put this onto.
Right.
So I took them on. They were just a couple that needed a wedding dance.
Wow.
So I do the wedding dance, and I think 3 or 4 lessons later, they come back for like one of their final lessons, and she just sort of looks differently at me, like this, like for like good maybe 5-10 minutes, and I'm like, are you good? And she's like, I looked you up.
Oh.
And I'm
Oh,
like,
God.
and she's like,
What'd you find?
how did you even take a lesson? Why did you even take the lesson? She goes, I looked through all your YouTube videos. I looked at, I went to the website of Brooklyn DanceSport Club. and all this stuff. And I go, how are you like? I'm like, listen, you came in,
Wow.
you needed a wedding dance. I'm gonna take my label off of who I may be, and I just
And you're gonna serve the way you know.
we're gonna do a wedding
yes,
dance.
Yes.
And we're doing a wedding dance. So that was an experience that I sort of had when I reflect on that. I'm like, you know what? You have to find time for that
But
kind
that
of
is
thing.
exactly what I'm talking about. That story. I'm so glad you told that story
Yeah.
because that story is exactly why I not only respect you so much, but also love working with you because,
Yeah.
like, you have this way of there's no ego involved.
Yeah,
It's just,
they can
and that
be.
is so rare to find. I hate to say it like that, but you know what we all come across, not just in this industry, I'm just
Sure.
talking about the world.
Sure.
And you have this way of making people feel comfortable right away, and you're immediately holding space for people. And that is so beautiful to do. But I think that I've seen people start like that, and then
Yeah.
they start to get these things. And it's not that the ego kicks in, it's just like, listen, I can't be everything for everyone all the time.
Right.
Because on top of that, you're also married.
Correct.
You're a husband.
Correct.
You have personal responsibilities,
That's right.
professional responsibilities.
That's right.
And so you have all these things, and yet I see you, because I recently got to be at LA Dance Camp, which
Uh-huh.
was phenomenal.
Cool,
It was
very
my
cool.
first one, and
It was a pleasure.
It was a thrill. We did a pop-up recovery lounge, which was so, so cool. And I got to talk to so many of the incredible coaches and legends that you bring into this dance camp from all over the world.
Yeah.
And so many of them that knew you from when you started in
For
your
sure.
teens. Like,
For sure.
they were like, oh, I remember Max from, I used
Yeah.
to coach Max.
Yeah.
And they see you now, and they're just so proud of you.
Yeah, I think you hit it on
it's so
the nail. Is that a few coaches in the like David Hamilton or Charlotte
Yes.
Jorgensen have been
Yes.
my mentors since I was 17, 18 years old, and they
Wow.
still are. And for them to be sort of invited to LA, where we all used to, well, I still live, but David moved and he used to
Yes,
live in
that's
LA.
true.
Charlotta used to live in LA as well. So we were all there, and now for them to come back and sort of to train further dancers, and for me to just organize it for them, make their schedule easy,
It's such a dream for them.
I think,
Like-
yeah, and I think they appreciate the feeling I always have is that they don't take anything for granted. None of the coaches I have, they don't expect to be invited back. They always tell me that. It's the funniest thing. They're like,
Yes. Yeah.
like, it doesn't have to be a regular thing. And I'm like, listen, I get that, but I like to keep the team
Yeah.
consistent. People
Yeah.
like that consistency. We don't do camps, 10 times a year. It's only twice a year.
And when you know that it brings a good synergy, I think that being in that room, in that space that you have created for, 3 or 4 days, and you have this really great, it just moves, and you just,
Yeah.
and boom, and then we're on to the next workshop, and then we're setting up the band for the
Yeah.
rounds, and then
Yeah.
and then there's food that comes in, and then you've got these phenomenal crepes that are over at the
Right.
stage. There's
Right.
just so many pieces to it, and I don't feel like you're running around like crazy trying to get that done. I feel like you know exactly where you need to be and what you need to be
Yeah,
doing.
but that is what you see, and I'm not, but that is because the first, the second, and possibly the third camp, we were running around.
Yeah.
So
You've built your system now.
Anastasia, my wife, and I, we sort of over the years have added people and to help us, but we also have the scheduling. I do the scheduling for the camp. It's over 360 lessons to book that cannot overlap with one another, because if you have an error somewhere, one person is taking a lesson, the next lesson they have someone else with another student or partner, and it's all a big Tetris game.
Yep.
On Google Sheets,
Google Excel. Yeah.
right? And
That's
so, my friend and business partner Eugene Katzelman does it on a double the level when they run
Yeah.
NYDF, and there's a camp there. It's close to 600 lessons over the course of the comp. So, I understand what it takes, and he's also not running around. But I think the point is that the work is done before,
Yes.
and it's so bulletproof that you check it and check it and check it. And then I tell the band, I said, look, you guys are showing up at this time, you're playing from this time to this time.
Right.
Everybody's lessons are set. Anastasia, my wife, is just there to sort of check on things.
Phenomenal.
And
Again, and always has time to give everyone a hug as well. Just the warmest energy, your wife.
Yeah.
I love her so much.
Yeah, she and in the meantime she gets a lot done. She's sort of one of those people that gets a lot done.
Yeah.
And sort of goes and goes. And I'm on the floor teaching the entire camp, so I can't really be running.
Well, that's
around.
another thing is that you're involved in it. You're in it. So delegating needs to happen.
Yeah.
I want to know how you're. We're going to kind of go back because I know we were going to go into different paths here. But Eugene. Yeah. Because again, I mean, a legend, just an absolute legend in the industry. How did that partnership form? Have you guys? I don't really know your guys' relationship from maybe back in the day when you were competing. But how did it get to where you are right now? Because what you guys are building here is revolutionary for our industry.
So I think the relationship subconsciously started when we were both probably 11 or 12 years old.
Okay.
And we were both in Ukraine and in Kiev. We're about the same age. Apparently, we don't know this, but apparently when we spoke, we went to the same dance studio. The reason we didn't really meet or see each other is because I think he was in the older group and I was in the younger group by a couple of years.
Gotcha.
And so when the groups changed, one was walking out of the group class and the younger kids were coming in after. We probably passed each other because as adults we later said, listen, where did you live? And he goes, so-and-so. And I go, wait a minute, that's like 2 blocks away from where I lived. And I'm like, what dance school did you go to? He goes, I went to that school. And I was like, I went to that school.
Okay, yeah.
So we had that conversation maybe, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, not that long ago.
Sure.
But we came to the United States at the same year. It was 1993. And he landed in New York and I landed in LA. And neither of us have left. He was in Brooklyn the entire time and I was in LA. And so we have that similarity. It was just going parallel. As far as competing goes, we always competed at the same time because USA Dance was kind of where we danced. It was the amateur body at the time.
Right.
And he did Latin and I did ballroom. And we basically mirrored each other because the Latin would finish the round and the ballroom would come in for a round and we would hop back. And so in the changing rooms, we always, him and Maria and me and my previous partners, we always sort of were in the same area. So we always had a parallel feeling going on as amateurs.
That's amazing.
And then what brought me back to Eugene was, of course, they retired and all this. Eugene became a coach for me and Tatiana. So what happened was we started doing Smooth with Tatiana and Eugene was the one that put us together. So Eugene said there is a girl in New Jersey, never did Smooth before, but I think she'll be great for you. And I was on a break between partners. I wasn't really looking.
Right.
My dad had passed away then, so I was going to take a break. And I said, okay, I'll fly out to New Jersey.
Wow.
Flew out to New Jersey, meet Tatiana. She's like 21 years old. Doesn't know anything about Smooth.
Firecracker,
just has a lot of energy, doesn't know kind of where to put it, just shoots it out everywhere and amazing, very hungry and eager to become someone, and anyway, so we start and Eugene becomes a huge mentor for both of us and really the main coach because as we have other coaches, there's always one person that sort of grounds you or that you come back to. It could be a family member for some people, it could be a coach amongst other coaches, but there's one person that sort of you bring ideas back and you say, what do you think?
Yes.
And then they ultimately, knowing who you are, they tell you the truth. And he was that person for us.
Wow.
He sort of orchestrated the image of the partnership and the choreographical approach. And when we wanted to go outside the box, he would help us to go outside the box, but not to make another box, just go a little bit outside the current box. Of what is acceptable, because if we go too far, then we're just weird. This
is so interesting because obviously Tatiana is one of our ambassadors as well. So we talked to her, and we talked about, because I wanted to get your take on this as well, is your branding around your couple and your your costuming and your ideas and your choreography, and she talked about a lot of your coaches. Eugene's name, I mean, we didn't really mention the coaches' names,
Sure.
but she mentioned a lot of different people helped along the process, and I didn't realize that Eugene was that pivotal in that partnership.
I think he was
pivotal.
pivotal.
That makes so much sense.
He's pivotal because when we work with a lot of we didn't work with a lot of coaches, but the ones we worked with were very, very influential for us.
Right.
Ruud Vermeer, William Pino. These people were heavy on certain ideas, and
Right.
we didn't need a huge team. We just
Right.
and these people added
But
to
you
our
have too many opinions.
too many opinions, and these people sort of wanted to add to our product that we had.
Yes.
And anyway, Eugene at the end of the day just gave us an honest view of if he thought it was maybe going in the wrong direction or
Right.
so that's what I felt his role was.
He has a very good gut feeling.
He has a
about
good
our
gut
industry,
feeling.
yeah.
I think he has a great eye. I think that again choreographically we trusted him on what worked and what didn't, what was too much Latin maybe in the smooth,
Yes.
what was the right balance between a ballroom and Latin and such.
Yes.
So that was his role, and then
Incredible.
as that I retired with Tatiana at his event at NYDF.
Oh,
So
wow.
also it was significant for me to
Yeah.
do the retirement, not maybe at USDC where a lot of
Sure.
couples retire, or Ohio. Still great spots
Totally.
to do your last dance. But for me, NYDF,
Yeah, it needs to mean something to you.
I mean, my
Yeah.
coaches were all there.
Right.
William Pino was judging at that event. David Hamilton was judging at the
Oh,
event.
that's
Charlotte
amazing.
Jorgensen was there as well. My wife was there. So it was
a no-brainer.
it was the beginning of the year. Yes, it wasn't. We didn't do the whole year of dancing and then retire, but that was the decision we made. And
That's incredible.
and anyway, retirement was in NYDF. Before that, we had always spoken with Eugene as we were competing, and we would go to dinner or whatever. I would always kind of throw it at him and say, do you ever think about Brooklyn DanceSport Club, LA? And we would sort of bounce ideas, and of course, he's so forward moving with
Yeah.
with ideas that we kept bouncing that around.
Yes.
And of course, I couldn't do that while I was competing because that would infringe on my
Oh, yeah,
time.
It's too much, yeah.
I had, like I said, I had my students and I
Right.
had my career. So when I wrapped up the career,
Wow.
I kept talking to them about it. It was still not really the right time for me because we were doing. First of all, it was pandemic, so that's what it was. I
When
retired
did you
in
retire?
2020.
Oh,
So I retired
okay.
2 weeks before everything got shut down.
Oh my God, that's right, because NYDF is like literally
NYDF
end of February.
NYDF happened,
Oh
and
my
then in the first
goodness.
week of March, the world shut down.
down.
So
What a timing.
yeah,
Jeez.
yeah, definitely.
Wow.
I didn't feel it was
Gives
the
me
right
chills.
time to start anything.
Yeah.
So it was a year and a half to 2 years. So come
course.
2022, we are back to having these conversations again.
Yes.
And then finally, an opportunity came along in LA where we were running camps. I started doing camps. So
Okay.
I didn't do a competition. I didn't
Okay.
do a studio. I started doing camps. Eugene was like, "Why don't you do a smooth camp?" And
That's right, I do remember you seeing some of those things come out.
yeah, I pivoted a little bit and I said, "Listen, I like the idea of a camp. I don't really like the idea of just smooth camp because I felt that it narrowed down.
It's a little limiting.
It's
Yeah.
limiting. I love
see
I love
that.
the style, but I feel like it was not an inclusive
Right.
feel to it. And I wanted then to just basically do a dance camp
Right.
because we're all eclectic in terms of even the smooth alone benefits from all the other
Totally.
styles
Absolutely.
and vice versa. So then the idea of LA Dance Camp was born, and then we started doing it in different studios. We needed a massive space. We used Westmore Studio, which was a historical place in LA.
Yeah.
We used a few others, but booking these things and all this stuff became a little bit more complicated, and we kept hopping around when one wasn't available. It was not consistent.
Yeah. You had to change dates, you had to do yeah.
Yeah, the
Gets
date.
tricky.
So bottom line is we needed a space.
But it sounds like that was always kind of the end goal.
It was.
From these previous
It
dinner
was.
conversations, it's like,
It was.
what about?
Well, now it had a reason to sort of say, okay,
Yeah. Now
we're
there
not
was
just gonna
like,
open Max's Dance Sport Club. That wasn't my interest. I really
Right.
don't need to have a key, walk in and be like, I own
Totally.
this joint.
Yes,
It's
yes,
not
yes.
like that at all. but an opportunity came along, and
Yeah.
we did finally, of course, have more serious conversations. We created a brand for LA, and we took it off the ground. We got a building, we put in the floor and mirrors, and when you were there.
Oh my gosh!
Everything-
Finally, yeah, I feel like I finally got to visit it after, and everyone had already kind of done their thing. But there
Yeah.
now you have such a, I mean, you now, and also being in Hollywood, it's a little bit different.
Yes.
Because now you have Dancing with the Stars people coming in and that
Yeah.
are sharing the floor. That are you have become a space all inclusive for whatever goal you're working on.
Yeah.
Which is incredible. I just found out also that Charlotta Jorgensen was one of the first 6.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
they come and did the 20th anniversary. I'm like, wait a minute, I just saw her last week. I was
Yeah.
like, what?
I remember
So,
helping
that's
her
so
out when she
cool.
lived in LA
Yeah.
and did the first season. She did it with John Hurley, and I remember they used to ask us, someone like me, to camera block. So I would show up with Charlotta. We would go through the entire dance on stage, and they would camera block it.
Right.
And
Because they need bodies.
Right, and
Yeah.
her celebrity wasn't even there. He knew his routine, and that's it.
Wow.
So I would go to the studio and do all this, and that was a long time ago.
So long ago. I mean, it was crazy. Yeah, I mean, I've known Louis Van Amstel for many years.
Right.
And I knew that, Jonathan Roberts
That's right.
as well.
That's
But
right.
I had forgotten some of the other 6, and it was so cool to see them back
Yeah.
doing that. What I love about what you're doing also is because sometimes it feels like 2 different worlds. It feels like our ballroom world
Yeah.
and then Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a natural blend that you have going on because of your placement of where you are.
Yeah.
But also, I think what we see on Dancing with the Stars, as we know, is very scripted and very
Sure.
put together versus there's you go to a New York dance camp and you're just like, this is where people are sweating. And,
Correct.
you know what I mean? Not to say
Correct.
that they're not doing that on Dancing with the Stars,
Correct.
but I think that there becomes this stigma of Hollywood and all of these things. And I think what is so beautiful is these professionals who've been dancing for so long are coming back and they're taking lessons.
Yeah.
They're like fully like, I gotta get better at this.
No, this
I gotta
is-
do this. I gotta get my Argentine tango up. I gotta
Yeah.
get, and I love that you're creating a space for no ego and constantly learning and improving yourself.
I had this conversation with Charlotta because she's sort of course, everybody sees the videos that a lot of these people are at Brooklyn DanceSport
Yeah.
Club, LA, having lessons with myself or Tatiana
Yes.
or they need help with choreography or whatever.
Sure.
They're basically there, and we were talking about the fact that these kids, because they're sort of still on the younger side, they really are their ego is in check because they have a lot of followers. They're sort of very popular out there,
Yeah.
and they still come in and they still do their work. They
Yes.
have lessons. They're when you teach, if I work with Jenna or if I work with Val
Sure.
or if I work with Mark Ballas, these people are all very professional.
Yes.
That has never left their bodies.
Because that's how they started, just like all of us, right?
Correct.
In the studio,
Correct.
doing the work.
Correct.
You
So
know?
when we work,
Yeah.
and I never feel from any of them that there is any sort of ego and that they know more, or they come in and they truly are like,
Yeah.
teach me,
Ready to learn.
tell me
Oh,
what
I
I
love
can
that
do
so
better.
much.
I
Yeah.
remember dancing with Jenna. Jenna was like, let's just do a little waltz and sort of fool around. So I did a little waltz routine for us, and it was like a full out open waltz routine.
Yeah.
And I danced with her, and I was like, Jenna, we have lost an American Smooth champion. I mean, I know you're doing what you're doing, and it's awesome, but wow. I mean, she danced with me, and it was legitimately like dancing with a very high end. Well, she is a very high end, but again, she just wanted to do some smooth for her
Right,
own
because she hasn't
development.
focused just on that versus you have, and for you to say that is
Yeah, but I know what I have in my hands.
Yes,
You
yes,
can
yes.
I can close my eyes and I know the level of person I'm dancing with.
Sure.
And I could tell just a sense of balance and a sense of continuity and musicality, and her body was sick, and I was like,
Oh my
that's
gosh, I
incredible.
love that.
And like Pasha and Daniela,
Oh my gosh. Just-
they're also awesome. And
Well, they're most recently most recently retired from our competition floor.
correct.
So I remember even just going to NYDF,
Yeah.
even just in the last 5-6 years, right before they did Dancing with the Stars, and I saw them compete.
Right.
And then knowing that they jumped on there, I mean, the level of, I mean, you could tell they were fresh off the floor.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
They were still like in such a competitive mode. It was really cool to
And
watch.
Daniela's sort of interesting. She will come into the studio and have lessons with like Nikita Brovko, and just her own lessons. She tells me, she's like, oh, you know, she came for a seminar with Eugene, and she was like, I just want that ballroom feel again once in a while.
That's
you know,
it.
it still pulls her in. She wants to put her Latin shoes on and
Yes.
and you know and dip her feet in a little bit of water and
So-
just do what
Yeah.
she knows how to do.
That's it.
Because some
Back
of the,
to the basics.
you know, some of the entertainment stuff can somehow take the you know, the actual
the joy out of the fundamentals.
yeah, exactly. So anyway, so we do get a huge crossover
I love it.
at the studio, and I think it's great. I think if the studio was located somewhere in the middle of the country, it wouldn't be the same.
No,
You
I
know,
don't think so,
it
yeah.
really does work because it is in LA. And I have a few, as you would think, I have a few summer projects that I'm putting together.
No way.
That I think will be amazing for the industry. So, not to give you a lot of info, but I'm tapping into the commercial world and the contemporary world. They all already, a lot of them come in to the studio to learn ballroom. We've become sort of a studio where they can learn Latin or ballroom.
Right, you say like commercial dancers that work in, you know, in whether it be print or commercials themselves.
Yeah,
or
but also
sitcoms.
conventions. So what's popular now,
conventions,
like you know,
yes.
Derek does a lot of great work with Ovation and
Yeah.
things like that. So what I wanted to do is at the studio, I wanted to do an intensive where once a month we bring in some heavy hitters that they do contemporary and jazz funk and hip hop, and then followed by commercial Latin or a lot of like Latin technique, all within a 2-3 hour span.
Totally.
So I am trying to bridge the two worlds in LA, especially. There's a lot of dance studios in LA. Millennium Dance Complex is huge for like hip hop and contemporary. There's T Millie, there's, you know, Project 21. So all these people also want to fuse a bit with Latin, you know, and we have that. And
I
so
love that.
anyway, that's something.
So you have, I have so many things to ask you. You have, I'm relating so deeply to you in the continual goal setting. And I don't feel like you wake up in the morning and go, what are my goals for today? Or you set them for the year. I feel like you just wake up inspired because you're around so much that you feel has potential. Like even just Dancing with Jenna.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, oh my God, can you imagine if this girl was, you know, like
your
brain, because my brain does that too. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like you have to shut it off sometimes to be like, listen, we can't do everything at the same time, right?
Correct.
So I guess that's my question is more, does it ever, because for me, sometimes I feel frustrated where I'm like, gosh, I have so many things I want to do, but then we have to build the teams out to do those things because it can't just be me. And truthfully, I don't need the ego boost, like you said. I don't need it to just be me. But how do you feel that you're able to maybe pick the right ones to move forward with, or not feel discouraged when something you chose maybe didn't pan out the way you wanted and now you maybe need to start another one? Because not everyone works the way that you do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least that's what I've seen. Not everyone works the way that I do, and so sometimes I get very frustrated. I'm like, oh my gosh, like we need a team, but we also got to find the right people.
Right.
And then that's how we can move faster. But then it's like, okay, let's just kind of let the dust settle. I get really caught up in that type A personality.
I think you have to do it in bits and pieces, and I think you have to keep following up on something you left for a second because you had something else.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got that little ADD feeling to it.
Okay.
But as long as I feel like you keep coming back fairly often to get another bite into whatever that direction is, and ultimately it sort of gains. Yeah, but I think what we all do a lot of times is we have these, you know, maybe exciting ideas, and we write them down or whatever. We have a business plan, and then if it just either stays like that, or we do one thing with it and it didn't work, and we back off and do another thing.
Yes.
But I think that maybe we need to come back and say, why didn't it work? Maybe if we just tweak that, maybe it'll continue moving, and it does.
Optimize a little, yeah.
So I think it's a little bit like that. It's not a wholeheartedly into one thing. I think like now, for example, I'm doing the studio's always there, you know, but I have my students as well, and I do competitions like I'm doing holiday this weekend.
There was a gap in the market, for sure.
Yeah,
Which is
so-
funny because a lot of people say that LA is very oversaturated. But I think the gap that you fit right into was exactly what we needed.
But this is what I mean. I think that there are studios in LA. I get it, but I think that the way we sort of presented the image, and it is related and connected to Eugene and to Brooklyn DanceSport Club. And the reason that Max's fabulous dance studio doesn't need to exist is because it's not about me.
Right.
Brooklyn DanceSport Club is also not really about Eugene.
No.
Brooklyn DanceSport Club is about kids. It's about development. It's about gritty, hardworking experiences.
Yep.
And that's what the brand is.
Absolutely.
There are different brands for different things and different reasons. I think, like for example, Fred Astaire does an amazing job with, a different type of clientele.
Right.
Arthur Murray does theirs, and there's or people have independent studios or social studios, and that's fine. It's just not something that I have a passion for.
Right.
And if I don't, then I'm not going to take on the project just because
Yes.
the project may, let's say, be financially a huge gain. This is what I'm saying, that I stay away from things that are not interesting or enjoyable or have a still a developmental value to it, something that can grow.
Right. Yeah.
And that's where my interest has been. So far, I've chosen. I mean, even my dance partnerships. Like Tatiana.
Yes, I want to go back to that as well.
Yeah, Tatiana and not that I in any way took on a project. I didn't feel like I did. I just thought that I would let this dancer develop and find her own style while dancing with me. Of course, I'm not sitting, in my living room while she's practicing.
Right.
We both did it, and I improved tremendously with her because of the way she moved.
Right. So my question for you is, did you feel because I don't feel now that hearing this pre-story was that you guys revolutionized what smooth kind of looked. You were like,
Did we?
Well,
I mean,
I
know
told
that we did.
Tatiana, I said, I feel like you guys walked so everyone else could run right now. But
Okay.
she goes, oh, okay, I love that.
Sure.
I think, not just you, I think that there were lots of people that do that in ballroom. But
Right.
I definitely think that the two of you, when you guys came out with this choreography and your dresses, right, the showing the legs.
Yeah.
In
She had a
smooth,
Hannah tattoo on her
tattoos, all the things.
Yeah.
And I said, was that you, or was Max okay with these? And she's like, he kind of just let me do me.
Yeah.
And I was like, that sounds very much like Max.
Yeah.
In the sense that if you're not going to dance with her and say, I'm going to change you and make you everything I want you to
Correct.
be. That's not who you are.
Correct.
And so, but you saw the potential on who she was, and the two of you together made something beautiful. I mean, every time you walked on the floor, I just couldn't wait to see what you were going to do next.
So I think that was the general
very
feeling,
exciting.
and I was one of those people that didn't know what was going to happen
That's,
next.
that's what she said
So-
to me. She goes, I don't think Max even knew what we were going to do next.
She was the only one that knew what was going to happen. That everybody else in the room did not, including Eugene or myself.
That
so,
is hilarious.
And I think that if she wasn't who she is and was, meaning artistically and full of ideas, then maybe it wouldn't be what it is.
Right.
So it would just be a new partner for me. We would have an okay career, and that would be fine. But she was and is still sort of special in the sense of she has a lot of ideas,
Yes.
and she has to
She's very
act on them. And if you're working in a partnership, I think the other person seeing what is possible should allow that, and not sort of make her into a cookie cutter sort of
No, absolutely.
look that we may all want. So some people liked it,
then
some
things
people
aren't
didn't.
going to progress. The idea of dancing, even though there are some foundations, some traditions, some fundamentals, yes, those are extremely important, and we need to hold on to those. Otherwise, we're not really ballroom dancing anymore,
Correct.
right? But there are, the world evolves, and the way we feel, and the way we talk about our feelings evolve.
Yeah.
So the fact that you guys were telling these new stories,
Yeah.
that was, I think, the best part is people were like, wow, I'm experiencing a different feeling when I'm watching Smooth. Because she said to me on the podcast, she goes, yeah, when I saw Smooth, it just felt like something that old ladies did.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't something she's like, I'm too young for that
Right.
division right now.
Right.
And so she felt like there needed to be a new character in Smooth.
Right.
And she wanted to present that. And the fact that you two did that together, I mean, we still talk about the Dangerous Woman.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, that was actually
that was everyone's jaw was on the floor.
That was one of our first show dances. We didn't wait long to
No,
sort
you
of
did not.
drop
You were
the-
like, and
drop the
here we
bomb.
are.
Yeah, that was I think set the tone
It
for
really
the
did.
partnership.
Right.
And the person that choreographed it was David Hamilton, and
Oh, I love
and
that.
provided the leash actually.
Hats off. I did not know
So-
that. Next time I see
So
David, I'm
it
gonna
wasn't
tell him
like
what
it
a
was
great-
some weird individual. We got ideas from some S&M,
Yeah.
It was an idea where we wanted to use a prop that we couldn't drop or release, because if you have a prop and it comes off
Right.
your body, normally when you do show dances, you get points deducted or disqualified.
I see.
So we were like, can we do something with the leash and sort of make it work where we dance with it and we don't,
Incredible.
we don't drop it, and it just and then we digged around David Hamilton's Halloween boxes, and lo and behold, we found Tatiana's outfit.
Oh my God! With all of the
Yeah, and she had like a nude body
Yes.
top under it, so it sort of from far away looked like she was like literally
naked, in a harness.
Yeah, nude in a harness,
It was incredible.
And David used to have a big a husky dog,
Oh,
and so he had this big leather leash still from it in those boxes. Anyway, that's how that came out, and we came out
Absolutely incredible.
and sort of unapologetically
Iconic.
did that, and then got some we got some slack for that, but we
No
did
pun
it.
intended, slack.
Yeah, yeah.
But here's the thing: it doesn't matter if people liked it, didn't like it, loved it, hated it. Everyone was watching you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what do they? I mean, listen. I'm not to compare it to, Britney Spears always said no. Any exposure is good exposure.
Sure.
But the concept is that what you guys were trying to do, you weren't trying to, like, put a bad taste on things. That's not who you are. Also, your reputation in the industry
Right.
is so good that
Yeah.
I think people were just like, they were like, where is this going?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you never really did anything at that risque, I think, ever again. But I think what's interesting that you did at the beginning is that, like you said, it did set the tone in the sense that it was like, listen, when I'm out here, we want you guys to watch, because we're
Yeah.
going to do something that's going to entertain you, that's going to shake it up,
Sure.
that's going to change the game a little bit. We're still going to dance smooth.
Yeah.
It puts so many people on your radar. And I think that is, I don't know, I think it's a beautiful thing. I think that that's what we strive for, is to have moments like that.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
I think our difficulty became later, where we wanted to be avant-garde and we wanted it to be different, but we also wanted to respect the traditional style of dance
Sure.
that we chose to do.
Of course.
We're not doing modern or contemporary. It's not that anything goes.
Right.
The music is fairly traditional,
Mm-hmm.
so we had, the box has been drawn
Yes.
already.
Yes.
And then that was the journey, I think, over the 4 or 5 years that we danced. When we worked with Eugene, we went, hey, how about these ideas? And like, let's say the Hannah tattoo. I mean, listen, anybody can do a Hannah tattoo on their thigh and expose the thigh with the dress. That's not really a big
No.
deal.
It's often done in Latin.
Yeah, and we never, it wasn't something that was that special, but maybe it was part of the outfit. Maybe the design on the leg
Yeah.
was part of the design on the outfit.
Totally.
Maybe the movements that she did, indirectly exposed that area to show that off. So it has to be packaged correctly.
Well, right. It can't, yes. It has to all feed into the execution.
Yeah, and
And be
this
intentional.
is what we,
I
I
agree.
think, became good at, is that we wanted to package into the traditional part maybe a slight spin on things.
Yes. Things were well thought out. when
They
you did
were,
them.
but they
And
were
and I think that was appreciated.
that they were
On the bigger
discussed.
scale, I think
Yes.
it was appreciated.
They were discussed and thought out.
Yeah.
We did not want to look or move like anyone else. No disrespect to any past champions. We just wanted.
No, but
to,
it had been done.
Yeah, exactly.
They're
exactly.
champions for a reason, like they
100%.
did what they did. But if we
100%.
continue to repeat the same
Yeah.
thing over and over again, just to say, okay, we reached the bar of excellence, it's like,
Yeah.
how are we ever going to move the bar up a little bit?
And ironically,
I think
we
that's
were
what we
not
were doing.
champions.
Yeah,
And,
right.
And that's where my personal feeling of ambition is reflected on.
Yes.
Because if I am artistic and expressive and things are developing, we're done. I'm at my peak in terms of satisfaction.
Right.
The placement is really not up to me. Tatiana's a bit more, competitive about it.
Yes,
She
yes,
really,
yes.
really, really, really wanted to win. And I had a conversation with her at one point, and I said that you either are going to get to do what you want, or you will win. But I'm not sure if those two things are going to happen at the same time.
Interesting.
So either we do what we want and we stick to it, we may not win because of that, or we focus on winning and then we do things that we have to do in order to win.
But don't necessarily light our soul.
Correct. So
that's a hard path to decide.
And I think ultimately, I think she came back with saying that she wanted to do what she wanted to do, and I said, well, then that's clear.
Then we need to focus on
then we're okay with
us and not that goal.
For example, that's why, I don't know if you recall this, but during one USDC, I flipped my jacket inside out.
I do.
Okay, so I still have that jacket. Again, the idea of flipping a jacket in the middle of the United States DanceSport Championships after waltz to transition into tango, to push that dance and to push the idea that we're different.
Well, and just now they're not just looking at you, because judges will look at you in the waltz and then maybe just kind of know how it's going to go for the rest of the dances.
Right.
But now all of a sudden you've given them something brand new to look at, and now they're like, well, gosh, now I have to watch their tango too. Not that they wouldn't watch it, but you see what I'm saying? Like, they may have moved on to another couple to see if they qualified as well, and you're kind of keeping the focus on you, which is kind of the whole goal of like, hey, we're trying to do this here.
But the hard part was like, how do we not hold up the comp? How do we do it in between dances? I had to rehearse and literally time myself taking the jacket off and on.
Wow.
And the jacket had to be made cleverly so that it works both ways.
Yes.
So this is what I'm saying about packaging. You can't just come in with a different color jacket and be like, stop the comp, let me just try to be cool and flip my jacket. This had to be put in within what we're...
That's hilarious. Yeah.
So we did that, and we won the tango at that USDC.
Incredible.
We won the tango at that event, and we didn't have enough maybe to win the second dance or to tie or whatever, but we were close. But the point is that we took that risk at
it paid off.
One of the most important events of the year.
Yeah.
You do something once like that, it's not something you keep doing.
That's right.
Anyway, that sort of always represented our partnership.
That's amazing. I want to go back to, because I am also really good friends with your other partner,
Yes,
Yulia.
that's right.
Actually, I just saw her outside, and she goes, what are you doing here? I was like, I'm actually doing a podcast with your former partner. She goes, tell them hi for me.
Yeah.
She's such a sweet person.
Yeah.
Actually, my husband has actually worked with her on some of her new artwork and done some photography for her, which is really cool. I caught the tail end of your career, so I don't really know the story of, how long were you guys competing? How did it start?
Well, with Yulia, the interesting part is that she was the reason I came back to American Smooth. So most people don't know this, but I am one of the few people that has been a United States champion as an amateur in Smooth, as well as continuing to have a pro career in Smooth. Travis and Jamie, I believe, are another couple.
Gotcha.
There's, I'm sure, maybe Spinders as well, Kyle and Ali Spinder.
Yeah.
But there are very few people that in this country dance through amateur ranks, become amateur champion or are high placements and continue to dance their entire pro career in the United States and then retire.
Wow.
So most of recent American Smooth dancers have come over from Europe. They've come over, because of work. They used to be 10 dancers. 10 dancers, they were ballroom or just Latin, and now they're sort of, find themselves really successful in the Smooth.
Right.
But that isn't necessarily the case with me or people like Travis and James.
Yes.
So Yulia was one of my tryouts, and I knew that I was going into an American Smooth tryout, and I thought, this is interesting. I haven't done Smooth in about 10 years because I did it as an amateur, won it, and then really focus more on the ballroom part, on the standard.
Gotcha. Okay, you
So
went back to I was going to ask.
Was doing standard,
Okay.
won the U.S. Rising Star, and did ballroom, and then stopped dancing with my niece at the time. That's why I won it with Lesia.
That's what it was. David Hamilton was telling me that. He's like,
Yeah.
Houston has it. Yes.
So
Right.
so we stopped, and and I was gonna look for another partner, and I had some tryouts for ballroom, but nothing really fit. And so Yulia was in New York as well, so there was another partner in New Jersey or New York. I was like, what is with this New York thing, you know? And so anyway, I go to New York, have tryouts, and we start partnering up. And I tell David Hamilton, I said, listen, I think I'm coming back to Smooth. And he honestly told me he didn't think it was a good idea. He was, a longtime coach of mine, and he was just like, listen, you've been doing ballroom for such a long time now. You know, last time you did a Smooth, you were an amateur, and you were like, 20 years old, 21.
Yeah.
And I was like in my 30s now. And he's like, I don't know if it's a good idea, because, maybe you should just stick with ballroom and kind of.
Right, you've already paved so
It's
much.
been 10 or 11 years of ballroom now. So he had a valid point, and I said, no, I don't know, let's see how this goes. So we go for lessons with Yulia and all that, and she was a little bit older than me, so she was actually sort of, on the earlier side of closer to retirement than I was when we were moving together. So I partnered up with Yulia. That's how I got back into Smooth again.
Yes.
And we were making all the finals at the time, and it was a strong field. I mean, you had Slavik and Majana,
oh my gosh,
you had Peter and Alessandra, you had Mayo and Michelle, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and you had Galina and Misha. You had McIntyres. You had,
McIntyre. Oh my God, I haven't heard that name in
so
long.
So Gary McIntyre was in. So I think Jamie.
I know them from West Coast
right.
Swing. I love them.
So Jamie and Travis were even, I think at the time, not quite making some of the finals. So this
right.
we're talking like, a lot of people pre them. So that it was a difficult final. We were like 4th or 5th at the USDC constantly. It was just a hard final to even make.
To even make, yeah.
Semi-final was hard. People were like trying to make the semi. The top 12 was like you couldn't get in,
Wow.
So anyway, Yulia and I had a wonderful work relationship. She was she's a sort of a grounded, mature individual.
Yeah.
Always has been.
She seems really confident. And
yeah.
But like you said, I think grounded is the better word.
Grounded, and she sort of, she was extremely artistic and very, very obviously very different from Tatiana. There was just this with Yulia. It was more about like art and beauty, and sort of what she does in her paint. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So there was this aesthetic of this feminist sort of beautiful, flowy feel with her dancing, and that's what I adjusted to that at first, meaning that was the partner I was dancing with, the way she was moving. I sort of felt like, I would accommodate that and be part of that. And then obviously with Tatiana, I had to be like, whoa, I have to have a little bit of different skill now, a higher skill because of the speed of someone. She was, Tatiana was just smaller, just a smaller person that moved faster, that had different reflexes. Yes. So the leads and all the timings had to be
your versatility through those partnerships is, I think, even more impressive than your dancing itself, is like the fact that you are able to shine in both of those partnerships when they were so different.
But I think that's the greatest skill, I think, of a dancer, is to be like a chameleon, is to be adaptable.
Especially as a leader.
Especially, I was just going to say, especially as a leader, we have to not just be sort of, that's one-way street sort of, whether it's with the girl's image or whether it's with her dancing or the way we want her to feel or turn. It's none of our business. I think our job is to, be there for them and make them look their best. And obviously, we also have to look good, but we're in that supportive role. Every leader is there for that, So I found that to be important, and it was great, for both partnerships.
Yeah, I cannot wait for LA Dance Festival.
Okay.
This is you are doing something. I mean, first of all, like as we know, right? NYDF has been going. They're celebrating. I think their 10-year anniversary
They're 10.
this year.
That is correct.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I actually thought it was going on a little bit longer. When I saw, I was like,
Mhm.
oh wow, it's built such a reputation in the 10 years. We feel like this has been going on for 20 plus years.
Right.
Where was this something that was part of those dinner conversations, the LADF, or was it something that was like, it kind of just came out?
So it came out in dinner conversations. I gotta stop having dinner with you, Gene, because we just
you guys are gonna take over the world.
we're gonna end up literally just talking about stuff that's gonna probably happen, So those dinner conversations were happening after Brooklyn DanceSport Club. So once we opened the studios together and that kind of started moving forward, we kept talking about things and LADF obviously was mentioned as an idea, meaning how do we mirror what is happening? The idea behind all the projects right now is always to bring a bi-coastal experience to people.
Right.
We are in some of the busiest and top 2 cities in the world. Mm-hmm. He's in New York and I'm in LA.
Right.
And we're in the same country, but we're absolutely the furthest.
Oh my gosh, it feels like 2 totally different countries
correct,
for me.
Correct. We're about, we're a 6-hour flight away.
Yeah.
In 6 hours, I can be in London if I'm from New York, 100%. So the idea is always with the studios as well as now with the events is that we are jointed by the same ideas and by the same philosophy.
And the same excellence.
The same excellence, and we want it to be for the dancers.
Right.
Regardless of the level, regardless of the statue or whatever, this is about the dancers because I think a lot of events are happening and throughout the country, and I think that the formula has gotten comfortable.
Yeah.
That's
a beautiful, politically correct way to say it.
Yeah, and I'm obviously learning to be that too. That the formula.
No, and I say that to say no judgment on it.
Of course.
But again, I think just like in your dancing, just like with your students, I'm sure as well as their progress, just like with the bi-coastal, all of the projects we've been talking about here, it's all about, how do we improve on what's been done as well? Because those people did it that way for a reason, and yes, we can do that and pay homage and have the tradition, but also let's give a little extra spice.
Yeah, but I think, for example, when I look at people like Sam Sedano or Wendy Johnson with these competitions, or Michael Chapman, I mean, these people have incredibly paved the way for the future generations, because one in my career was dancing their events. Yeah. Dancing Ohio Star Ball, dancing Vegas, dancing Hollywood Danceport Championships, dancing Millennium.
And revolutionized. I mean, I will never forget going to Candyland at Millennium.
Right.
I'm thinking, where does Michael come up with these ideas? Yeah. They're brilliant.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the things that they have done worked, but again, this has been over decades.
Yeah.
So it has been, like you said, it was what revolutionized your dance career and all these things. So now it's like, awesome, what's next, almost in a sense.
Well, it also rubs, what happens is I think that the feel of the event has a lot to do with the organizer.
Yeah, agreed.
And it rubs off energetically.
Yeah.
And I think that Eugene and I with Brooklyn DanceSport Clubs, we have the same ideas that, listen, at the end of the day, it's going to be about the dancing at any level, but it is about the quality of what we do.
100%.
It is about the clarity of what we do. And I think with the events, the same thing. We have this feeling like we want it to be a competitive event, but we want it to be a grand event where there's a fine balance, where we're not just there for the destination alone.
Right.
That's, to me, that's a vacation. When destination alone is the most important thing, that's called a vacation. You go to the Caribbean, that's it.
Yes.
Because of that. So for us, it's more about how do we bring together in LA an event that has the grittiness of New York without the New York, because we don't have a Manhattan, we do have a downtown LA. Yeah. But we do have other things that are floating around in the LA area.
Well, I was going to say, what LA has to bring
is
not what New York brings.
Right.
It's a very different thing.
Right.
And that's special in and of itself.
Yeah, and so I think we kept talking, and basically an opportunity came along where we could develop an event in the beginning of November.
Okay. Right next to the dance camp.
Next to the the dance camp now, the one that I used to run,
which was in the fall.
Yeah, it was always at the end of October.
Right.
So now the dance camp obviously is going to be attached
Perfect.
to LADF.
Couldn't be better.
So that will be the LADF camp.
Yes.
And the LA dance camp will still run in the spring.
In the spring, right. Yes,
So
yes.
that the idea is that
so Eugene also does 2 camps in New York. He does one attached to the NYDF, and then he also does another one.
He does a summer camp, I believe.
A summer, okay.
He does a summer camp in June or July, I believe. There's maybe one in April as well. But he does a couple of different in-house, in-studio camps.
Got it, okay.
But I think the major camp that he does is the one right before NYDF, and it's sort of, part of that because it's even held at the hotel. So that's the idea. The formula will be similar.
Incredible.
So how do you, for example, take what has been developed by him and Maria in New York and reignite it in LA? I think that's the idea. I think people will feel they'll just get the same feel.
Yeah.
Also, we're on a different side of the continent, so I think Asia will get involved quite heavily, which will be incredible to see dancers from there come in and participate. And also
we get a lot of that when we go to Hawaii Star Ball. They all come over, and that's kind of one of the only times we see them. So it's very cool.
That's
I love that.
So we're definitely working on bringing it worldwide.
So cool.
But the idea is definitely to make it about the dancers, and that goes anywhere from how they feel about things inside the ballroom to how they feel about the hotel, to how they feel about having a recovery lounge or whatnot. So
because listen, we all have the right people that are listening, boots on the ground.
Yeah.
They're hearing the clients.
Yeah.
And those are the people that are making our industry run.
Correct.
Do you know what I mean? And when we say that as the pro-am, but then you have the professionals who are doing what you did, trying to get their career going, teaching, doing all the things. There's just a lot of elements to that. So to be able to have a competition that can serve them in a way that allows everybody to win.
Right.
I think that's what I feel is what you're doing, is you are evolving based on what you're hearing and not just like, well, this is what I want. And that's not you.
Correct.
You've never been like that. That's not the ego part. But at the same time, or what a competition should be. Yeah. It's like maybe it can be something else.
It can be whatever the organizer wants it to be.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's different for everyone. It'll be for different clients. It'll be different things.
Right.
Totally. And I think
kind of a choose your own adventure.
yeah, and I think that because we've already experienced NYDF and we kind of know, we're in Manhattan. Right. We're there for a week. The camp is part of it. It's an experience, right? It's a whole week of. You leave exhausted in a good way, from New York. Doesn't matter whether you're doing video there, or you're a vendor, or you're a dancer, or you're a judge. You just leave danced out. You're just okay, I need a week off. Right. But
you put your soul into it. This is why we do this. We live for weekends like that. If you want to be a champion, you got to focus on being a champion.
Right.
And we're like, yes, of course, but also we're dancing and it should be fun. And so there should be moments in your career where you get to do something that you're just like, I can't believe I just did that. That was amazing. Right. They just need a moment to be like, oh, this is why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what those kinds of things are trying to create.
Yeah.
To make it really fun for the professionals as well.
Yeah. We're planning for the after party to be outside, in downtown LA with all the buildings and everything. Also, Eugene is for the first time running a Jack and Jill, professional Jack and Jill at NYDF. Oh. So a legit professional, all dances.
Oh my
Jack
goodness.
And Jill, and we're going to reflect that, of course, in LA.
That's phenomenal.
Because at the end of the day, you have to be enthusiastic about this career.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a chore. We're not doing anything that's, we're moving our bodies to music together.
Yes.
It can't be that bad.
It can't be that bad.
So,
I'm so excited for everything that you're bringing. Thank you for your putting your heart and soul into everything that you do, but thank you also for just making time for people this.
Of course.
Like,
of course.
you are a very busy man, and I respect your time, and I thank you so much for also, I feel like you're a friend. Like, I feel like you're very approachable. You respond to text messages. You're just a good person.
I certainly try.
And I know, and I love that about you, and I think that's why what you do, like you said, it's not about always winning.
Right.
Sometimes it's just about putting out something that feels good, that
Right.
other people also say, that does feel good.
Right. Right.
And I think that's the energy we get when we walk into Brooklyn DanceSport, whether it be here in LA or in New York.
Yeah.
That's similar. Incredible. Your kind of fated destiny with Eugene. Like, as you guys were passing each other throughout the years, it was kind of meant to be.
It seems that way,
Yeah.
and we're making it about that too. And it's not like we're just sort of waiting for things to happen to us.
Correct.
Together, we're definitely, we're bouncing things off of each other and seeing what sticks and all that. So I think it's going to be more things, I'm sure, happening. But so far, it's a lot already, and
it's incredible.
can't really take on another project.
I was just going to say, I think you're good right now,
I'm
maintaining
good right now.
what you've got.
Yeah.
But and I think you're going to have some incredible feedback from next year. And I mean, like I said,
Actually, we're looking forward to all the feedback. We're looking forward to
Yeah.
the aftermath. I mean, okay, one
Good
thing
and
is,
bad.
yeah. The thing is, you put on an event, a lot of work before that. I've never put on an event before except a camp, but
Yes.
a 3-day camp versus a 4-day competition at a hotel is a very different situation.
It is.
So
I've been a part of a team like that,
Yeah.
and you're in for it in a good way, though, because there's so much you do put your heart and soul into it in so many ways.
And I'm looking forward to learning, let's say, from Eugene and Maria.
Yeah,
That's
for
because
sure.
Anastasia and I are both involved in it. We're both sort of are going to observe kind of how this evolves.
I was gonna say, you couldn't have better guidance.
Right.
Yeah,
And
you're
I
set up
think
for success.
I'm
for
excited
sure.
for afterwards, sort of to decompress after and sort of back away and be like, how do we do? How do we do?
Let
You
the
know what I
dust
mean?
settle. Yeah.
Do we do another one next year? How do we do? You know what I mean? I think it's going to be great. I don't think we could really go wrong with it as long as I think the clients and the people, the dancers are happy.
Right.
That's really it.
I agree. Yeah.
So.
Amazing. Well, as you can see, again, thank you for wanting to be a part of what we're doing here.
Of course.
As you're innovating, we're really trying to innovate with wellness and bringing more mental and, of course, physical, but also financial, just resources, tools, knowledge, education to dancers, because we all get into this industry, as Val said, just kind of one dance at a time.
That's right.
And then you kind of are like, oh, can I make a living doing this? Oh, am I going to burn myself out with jet lag and always on a plane and I'm starting to not feel great, so all of those things, it's like there can be sustainability in this industry. And I think you are living proof of that.
Mm-hmm.
You have been through so many chapters of your career, which I think is incredible. And I don't want to say reinvented yourself, because that sounds a little cliche, but in the sense you've kind of had these new seasons of who you are and expressed yourself in different ways, and now with the studio and the things, that I think it's really cool to see how there can be sustainability, and like we were talking about that balance before, that you kind of find it in pockets.
Yeah.
And I just want that to be more accessible to people.
Right.
I think that's the biggest thing, is the accessibility, is when people struggle, they don't quite know where to turn. You immediately go to your partner and then your coaches, and then, well, but I don't want to be the person that's bringing everyone down, and it starts to get a little challenging in that way. So I think for right now, what we're trying to do is just be able to be that sounding board for people, be there when they need something. Hey, let me point you in the direction of this person, they might be able to help you. Hey, let me send you this ebook, this might help you. Hey, why don't you come by our recovery lounges? Just give so many different resources that can help. Like you said, you can't satisfy everybody.
Correct.
So hopefully there's something there that everyone will find their groove in, whatever they need. But being able to talk to people such as yourself and have you guys be that testimonies of even Yelena, I was talking to Yelena Grunick, and she's like, gosh, I wish I had a recovery lounge when I was competing. I'd be at it all the time.
For sure.
And I'm like, and I appreciate you saying that, but let's see what gets done from it, and so.
And if you don't do it or you don't put it out there, then you never find out.
True.
if you keep it as an idea, I think, and it just stays as an idea,
Right.
then we never really know about it.
Right. And then there's no feedback, and then we don't.
And even if it works into something else, then that's the way it should be. But it has to come out.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, no. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
So
Thank you for having me, of course.
For those of you who are excited, we've got, obviously, join our inner circle. You can go to our website. It's on the screen. And we're super excited to see all the amazing things that is going to come out of this beautiful, now we're calling it a franchise. It's a franchise.
It's
too much, too fast.
It's something. It's definitely something.
It's beautiful. I think what you guys are creating is amazing, and hats off to Eugene and what you guys have been able to do. And obviously, Maria, and your beautiful wife, Anastasia.
Thank you.
Love her so much. We will see you guys next time. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.